Well, hello, Sci-Fi Valley Con. Samurai Jill back again with Rob Paulsen. It would not be a Sci-Fi Valley Con without you, Rob. How are you doing today?
Well, may I first begin this auspicious interview by saying, hello, Jill! Wow! Man, oh man, I'll tell you what, if you would lower your standards and I was 52 years younger, you'd have to take out a restraining order. No, it is, I think this is my fourth time here.
At least.
Fourth or fifth. And Casey puts on, and his beautiful lady put on the most wonderful show. And everybody is so nice. I was just literally saying how you two ladies are so great with the people. And I think that's the thing that I like most about the whole con experience is the extent to which these characters really connect with people at their soul. And
so many people have said hello nurse to me today. It's incredible.
Isn't that great?
Kids have been saying it to me.
And these shows are cross-generational. People tell me the most incredible stories about, I was in the foster system from the time I was 6 months old to 18. But as long as there was a television, you know, I could go to a new home and Ninja Turtles was my family. It's stuff I never would have known. Incredible.
Speaking of Ninja Turtles, before we get into Animaniacs,
yeah.
Shredder's Revenge is getting a DLC that just came out.
I know, and my son is in the video game business, and he told me the other day that it sold over 1 million copies.
It's so much fun.
I heard it's really good.
Did you have to go back and re-record more for the DLC? Or
yeah.
Was that? Oh, you did?
Yeah,
okay.
in fact...
With Dimension Shell Shock.
I think that I've got one coming. I know they checked with myself and the other Turtle guys. We were all together last weekend in Seattle. And boy, is it fun to be with those guys. People flip out.
I saw you had Renee Jacobs.
Renee
April.
was there.
Oh, what a crew.
It really is a great crew. And I've been lucky to work on that show twice. And I get 2 shots at Animaniacs. And Wacko, you should bring your brother out here. Can you leave the camera for a second?
Come here, Wacko.
Come on over here, Wacko.
I can't have Yakko without Wacko.
Yeah, it's my baby brother.
That final season, that final episode.
Pretty good, huh?
We were all shocked.
Yeah.
Stay safe, sweeties, and
nice.
that was it.
That was it. I don't know. I didn't like. Hey, how about this? He's the one who does all the belches. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Look at that.
Well,
the tongue and everything.
That's Maurice, right?
That's Maurice.
He does all
yes.
the belches.
All
Fun
those
fact.
belches are Maurice LaMarche. Yeah. And that then suggests the question, what does your dad do for a living? But no, look at you guys. Isn't this great? This is the coolest part of my gig now. When I'm old enough to have a legacy of work that a lot of people have made a big fuss over. It makes a lot of people happy. But I'm young enough to travel around and do these events because they get a little bit, well, you know, it gets a bit tiring.
Yes.
But I'll tell you what, every time I'm done with one of these shows, this one is no different. We are utterly exhausted from saying thank you.
But your heart's full.
Oh my God, just saying all weekend, thank you. Really? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, hey, Rob, thank you for bringing these characters to
all
life. And
oh, my pleasure. And I rambled on, but do you have another question? You want me to
I
shut
have
up?
so many questions.
Oh, fire away. Okay.
So, you know, Animaniacs has always been very meta. Mm-hmm. But I was so pleasantly surprised that we actually got to briefly see Hello Nurse in season 3. The Christmas episode.
Yes. And it was, we knew, obviously the zeitgeist has changed a lot. And, well, this fall, it'll be 30 years since it came out. Yeah. And, you know, there's stuff that is inappropriate anymore. Some people say, oh my God, people don't have a sense of humor. Well, that may be true unless you're one of the people that's being made fun of, you know? So I understand the necessary tweaks that had to be made culturally, but that just is a testament to the writers. When your boss is Steven Spielberg, it's pretty cool. And you get the best of everything. And the ultimate thank you, kudo, goes to Tom Ruegger, the guy who created it with Mr. Spielberg all those years ago. And these characters are getting pretty iconic. And as I get older, it's pretty neat. I mean, I don't plan on punching my ticket tomorrow, but it's pretty cool knowing that once you do punch your ticket, these characters are going to go on forever.
They will. They absolutely will. Yes.
So thank you all. It's the best.
So I want to ask about the Animaniacs Masterclass.
Oh, how about
The
that?
Brain Teaches World Domination.
Yeah.
That was so cute.
Yeah,
and
Mo
so much
killed
fun.
it.
What do you think the Brain would actually do first if he succeeded in taking over the world?
I think the first thing he would do is he would be an Amway distributor. Amway's not just soap anymore. He would be an Amway Diamond distributor. He would then be presented with a pink Buick Regal, which I could drive, as my name is Pinky, and we'd go around delivering boxes of LOC and Amway vitamins in a multi-level market scheme that ultimately has us take over the world. There you go.
And
That, my
what
friends,
would
is the
Pinky do?
definition of contrived. Yes.
What would Pinky do?
Oh, Pinky would just sit back and relax and tell Brain, I want you to walk on my back, please. Nerve.
We all need a friend like Pinky.
No, we do. I agree. Pinky's a very sweet, stupid mouse, just like Rob.
You know, that makes me think of another question.
Yeah.
The narfs and the poits, how many of those are scripted and how many are you just interjecting whenever you feel Pinky would say
Those sort of...
that? Zorts and...
yeah. Zort, point, hey, Dad!
Yeah.
Those are all scripted. And the reason is, this is cool. You can look this up on the eBay, the interwebs. Pinky and the Brain were modeled after two gentlemen who worked at Warner Brothers Animation for years. The Brain was modeled after a gentleman named Tom Minton, M-I-N-T-O-N. Look him up. And when you see Tom Minton, you will think, oh my God.
Not Orson Welles, as you
No,
would think.
it's the
Yes.
Brain.
Mhm.
And then then the Pinky was modeled after another wonderful animation director named Eddie Fitzgerald, who in his pitches, like if you're Tulu and he's pitching a show, okay, then what happens is Pinky walks through the door, Zort, and he runs into the wall, Bite! And he actually said those little things. So when you see Eddie Fitzgerald, Warner Brothers Animation, overbite, big smile, huge, just a joyful person, and that is where those came from. Now, the ones that were written were the responses to Pinky, are you pondering what I'm pondering? I've got a new one that goes, I think so, Brain, but if Jack's black and Betty's white, is Marvin gay? Nerve. Yeah. So
It comes so naturally to you
it
at
does.
this point.
It's a sickness with which I've been able to earn decent money. But those were primarily written by our really wonderful, multiple Emmy-winning writing staff. And you've talked to a lot of actors, and man, you can have all these skills, you can have charisma, you can have this, you can have that, you can have Jesus as your agent, but if you don't have a script, if you ain't got nothing to say, you're done.
I feel like you and Maurice could go back and forth pretty easily at this point, though.
Yeah, well, that we can do. I just love him so much, and we can really play off each other, but those non sequitur responses, I think so, Brain, but me and Pippi Longstocking, what would the children look like? Were all written with maybe 3 or 4 exceptions that were improvised by myself and other actors, but the vast majority of them were written by wonderful writers.
So, Rob, you've had this incredible voice acting career, and I'd like to know if you could give one piece of advice for aspiring voice actors, what would that be?
It's all about acting. Acting is acting. At the risk of sounding a little too self-aggrandizing,
No.
the reason you love Bart and Homer and Stewie and the Brain and Megatron, Bugs, is because they're well acted. It is a deeply collaborative effort. Man, I don't draw them and I don't write them. I'm good at my job, but shit, I ought to be. I've been doing it for probably about 30 years before you ladies were born, collectively. And it is a deeply collaborative effort, to be sure, but it's really about acting. So if you want to do what Mo and me and other people, it's learning how to act. All of us, bar none, have live acting experience on stage. Mo was stand-up comedy, I was music, and then theater, and I was doing TV and movies in LA and a lot of commercials. But ultimately, the characters that end up being iconic and being sort of trans-generational.
Timeless.
Yes. Mel Blanc was a brilliant actor. It's the same thing with all these other incredibly smart, clever characters. They're just really smart. And so learn to act and then have way too much fun.
Is there any upcoming or recent projects we can look to hear you in?
Yeah, there are a couple. I wish I could.
That you can talk about.
I can't, and that sounds really big deal. It isn't. They actually make you sound, because there's so much competition. I mean, you guys have been around since there've always been like a 24-hour cartoon channel or all that. When I first moved to LA, it was all Saturday morning and a few things on local TV, but nothing 24 hours, nothing satellite, no streaming, nothing, not even DVDs or videotapes. So now, with the amount of product there is out there, with video games and TV shows, especially animated ones where there's a lot of artwork and time involved, they make you sign non-disclosure agreements, because you might spend 3 years working on something, somebody finds out about it, and they beat you to market by 2 months.
Social media, all it takes is one person to know, and then all of a sudden a million people know.
Crazy.
Yep.
And impossible amounts of money. But on the cool side, especially of streaming stuff, it gives creators carte blanche.
Yes.
You don't have to be beholden to cereal companies or no commercials. So if you come in and say, I'm really interested in your script, and you say, I'm going to give you $12 million to make your show, and we have to see the notes, but pretty much you're on your own. That's amazing. So it's a great time to be a creator, to be a performer, and to be a cosplayer. It's just a remarkable whole thing to be involved in something that it brings so much joy to so many people, that is utterly inclusive, and it really is like a little microcosm of how we wish life would be. It doesn't matter if you're neurodiverse, or you're tall, or you're thin, or you're short, or you're black, or you're white, or you're Jewish, or you're Muslim, or you're atheist. Here, everybody just have a great time.
That's what we say cosplay is for everyone.
It
all the
is
time.
the best. And I know that when you guys do that crazy, incredibly good cosplay, I know you get little kids, you get parents, you get people who get tearful. It's amazing. And how rewarding.
Is that times 1,000.
Oh my God.
So, and I can barely handle it sometimes.
It's really
I don't know
something.
How you do it.
Well,
really...
I do it because I've worked really hard for this privilege, and that's exactly what it is. It's not blowing smoke. People my age in normal life would be downsized by now. I can work as long as people are kind enough to hire me, or until I die. I just love this gig. I have a superpower. All I have to do is say, "Nerf," and look what happens. Isn't that something? Or don't forget to buy a croissant from the hot chicks in the cosplay. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for your
My
time,
pleasure.
Rob. You're the best.
Thank you, sweetie. You guys look so...
Thank you.
Sci-Fi Valley Con, come meet Rob. He's
Bye.
the best.
Don't let the door hit you or the good Lord split you.